Hello everyone, my name is Lucas Candy and my visual display activity will be on how to address poor staff culture. And the reason I chose this is because all administrators and really all leaders, really what you're trying to do most of the time is convince people to change. And if your school culture is not conducive to that, it's going to be a problem. So what is school culture? So according to author Anthony Mohammed, school culture is indeed a delicate web of past personal experiences, organizational history, and interaction with the greater society. Another way I've heard it put is it's just the way we do things around here. So you might find things are different from place to place, and that the person might say, oh, it's just how we do things around here. That is the culture speaking. So the problem is if you're going to be ready to make a change, that culture needs to be prepared for it. And if you try to make a change in a culture that's not ready for it, it doesn't matter what your title or authority is, it will be like pulling teeth trying to get it done. So you need to be smarter about trying to enact change. As author Douglas Reeves says, we must pull the weeds before we plant the flowers. So get rid of the stuff you don't need before you start looking to start the new thing. Organizational writer Peter Drucker says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So it doesn't matter how amazing your plan is. If that culture is not ready for it, it's going to have a problem. So what are some barriers to change? First of all, fear of the unknown, right? People are afraid of what's over the horizon. You know, you say you want change, like that automatically makes them stress. Like I've been in staff meetings where you can feel the stress level rise as we start talking about something new. Another one is the desire to maintain a status quo. Those two really dovetail together. And it's understandable because you're asking people to, okay, you've got your whole system figured out and things are going smoothly. Let me just change something right now, and then you're going to have to restart things. And of course, a lot of people always think it's going to be the worst, and they're going to have to do everything from scratch and all that stuff. Another reason, which goes along with this as well, is innovation fatigue. If you have somebody new showing up every 2 years, hey, this is the new thing, we want you to redo everything how you're doing it, but then you don't follow up on that, it can really lead to a sense of like, why are we doing this? This doesn't matter. This won't matter in a year. Why would I put effort into it now, right? They might do it the first couple times, but after a few years, they can get a little bit jaded about the process. So that's important to know the history. And then finally, lack of trust in the leader. This might not be because there's anything wrong with the leader. It's just because if you're new, you need to build up influence with your staff. Your title only carries so much power with it. It does carry some, but you're going to need to build a relationship with these people first before they'll trust you. So here's some steps. First, get the lay of the land. Don't run in there, guns blazing, ready to make a huge change. That is going to stress people out, and it's going to automatically put defenses up. Even someone who wants to follow you. I know when I first started my school, we had a new headmaster that began as well. He had a plan to move us out of our building and basically restart the school in a whole new way, but he did not tell anybody about that on staff until about year 3, when we were ready for it and when he had built some trust with us, and that's important. Now, while you're there and kind of getting the lay of the land, not making any big moves, you need to be watching for the different types of people. Now, according to Anthony Mohammed, most people fall into one of 4 categories. First, you have the believers. These are your awesome rock star teachers who are in it to win it. They believe every child can learn, and they're there to make a difference. Next up, you have the tweeners. These are the brand new teachers, and they're still, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go, but they might be struggling, right? They're still figuring out classroom management and lesson planning and all that stuff. They're at a critical junction. No one remains a tweener for long. Eventually, you're going to fall into one of these other camps. Now, that's where you can come in as a good leader to help guide them through mentorship and instructional coaching into the believer camp. Survivors are the ones who have burnt out. These are the ones who can always tell you how many periods left until the end of the day, how many days left until Christmas, how many years left to retirement. These people are just putting in their time. They're burnt out. They can be helped, but a lot of the time they're just kind of done. They're just a job to them. And then finally, and this is the most dangerous group, you have the fundamentalists. These are people who are actually they can run a classroom. They don't need your help to run a classroom. They actually don't want you there. They think teaching is perfect the way it is. Actually, they think teaching was perfect the way it was 20 years ago. And they will fight change just because it's changed. So not only will they not join you, they will actively work against you. These people will sit in the back of a staff meeting, whispering to each other about why things won't work. Next up, once you've figured out who those people are, you can build your team. Obviously, once you know who the right players are, then you can build your team. First, your kind of administrative team, and then also you know which teachers are on board, and you start working on things. And first thing, before you do any more changes, you decide what can you stop doing? What is siphoning away resources, time, energy that you can stop doing. That will, one, make you popular because you're taking things off people's plate, but also give them the bandwidth. That's another reason why people don't want change, because like, I can't handle anything else. Don't even talk about something until a little bit is off my shoulders. Once you've done that, so you've got your team, you know who the players are, you've taken some things off, you've lightened some loads, only then can you start small and build momentum. Again, you have to get some easy wins, chalk up some things, do small things, get them used to the idea of change before you try to wreck the whole thing that they're so in love with. And remember, sometimes people aren't even in love with the actual process, they're just scared of change, right? So you start small, build momentum, and while you're doing this, you're building relationships, you're building kind of influence with these people, which is going to pay huge dividends. Finally, it's time to start some big projects. And what you're going to do is, this is the Simon Sinek book, and it's also step number 5, which is start with why. Because a lot of people stick with the how and the what here's what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. That doesn't get anybody excited. What you need to do is you need to connect it with the why. Why are we doing this thing? Why are we moving to a different timetable system? Why are we instituting more reading time? You have to cast a vision for them about why it matters. Only then will people get on board. So hopefully you've enjoyed this very quick flyover of the concept of doing kind of an audit of the culture before you jump into change. 2 great books to look into, Transforming Culture and Leading Change by Douglas Reeves. If you have any questions, please let me know.